Hello and welcome everybody to IVSA Standing Committee on Animal Welfare's third debate competition. My name is Anushka and I'm the Education Officer of SCAW and I will be the moderator of today's debate. The motion of our debate is this House believes that riding of elephants should be banned. Now, elephants are wild animals, and they have been kept in captivity and used for riding since the 5th century. Even today, riding of elephants is a major tourist attraction in many places. However, this practice has been linked with animal cruelty and has been condemned by many welfare organizations, including World Animal Protection. This is the reason why we've held this debate. The debate is going to be in WSDC format, which stands for World School Debate Competition format. Now, let me quickly introduce you our debaters and I'll also explain the rules of the debate. In this debate, we have two houses, the proposition house and the opposition house. In proposition, members are speaking to support the motion that says riding of elephants should be banned. In opposition house, members are speaking against the motion that riding of elephants should be banned. Our debaters in this debate are members of IVSA Rampur and IVSA Paklihawa in Nepal. In the proposition side, we have three members. Anurag, who is the Prime Minister, Madan, who is the Deputy Prime Minister, and Yashoda, who is the General Whip. In opposition side, we have Deepak, who is the opposition leader, Sudip, who is the Deputy Opposition Leader, and Usha, who is the opposition whip. And reply speeches will be given by Deepak in the opposition side and Anurag in the proposition side. The way we conduct this debate is members from the alternate houses will come forward to give their debate speech. For example, first the proposition side will come forward, and then the opposition, then the proposition, so on and so forth. Each debater will have 8 minutes to give the debate speech. After 1 minute of protected time is over, you will hear this bell, after which other contestants can ask for POI, which stands for Point of Information. After the 7th minute mark is over, you will hear this bell again, which denotes that the time for POI is over. Then finally, after the 8th minute, you will hear a double bell, which denotes that the debate time is over. For reply speech, you will get 4 minutes to speak. At the end of 4 minutes, you will hear this bell. In POI, which stands for Point of Information, other contestants can offer questions, clarifications, objections, or contradictions. Each POI can last for 15 seconds and no longer, and the speaker has the right to either accept or decline the POI. Now I would like to introduce our adjudicators for this debate. Our first adjudicator is Mr. Ankit Kumar Shah. So a little bit about Mr. Ankit. Ankit is he's very passionate about public speaking. He's also the winner of national level speech competition organized by National Youth Council in Nepal. He's also selected for Asia International Moon 2021. And he has been an adjudicator of Mahakumbha 2021, which is a national debate competition in Nepal. So we're very grateful to have you, Mr. Ankit. Our next adjudicator is Marine Rua Ni Aoda. Rua is a newly graduate from Wrocław University of Life Science in Poland, and she's currently the chairperson of SCAW. She chose to study veterinary to be a better advocate for animal welfare. Her recent projects include research into carp welfare. Carp is a type of fish, and exploring practical solutions to improve the welfare of feral animals. So we're very happy to have you here, Rua. Right. So now that everybody knows the basic rules of debating, I would like to start the debate now. And our first speaker for this debate is going to be the Prime Minister from the proposition side, who's going to be speaking in favor of the topic riding elephants should be banned. Anuraj, can you hear me?
Yes, Anushka, I can hear you.
All right, Anuraj. Remember the time you have got 8 minutes?
Yes,
And yes, so your time starts now. All the best, Anuraj.
thank you. A lot of us might have taken elephant ride. Yes, it really might be an incredible experience for many of us. But have you ever realized that the creature you are riding upon isn't roaming free in the jungle but is put into captivity and is forced to do so? So, yes, in this debate competition organized by Standing Committee on Animal Welfare, presenting my warm namaste and greetings to respected judges and all of our audience, I, Prime Minister Anurag Silwal, am going to present and prove my opinions from the proposition side on the topic why elephant riding should be considered taboo and unnecessary. There is an air of romance about elephant riding. Sitting atop its back as the giant animals slowly walk down white sand beaches or along rushing streams in the thick of the jungle. It's really the stuff great travel stories are made of. But the truth is, riding elephants should be avoided. With all of our bounty gifted to us by our Creator God, apart from our superior intelligence, the provisions of the land as well, what gives us humans the authority to rob another creature from his natural environment, which was awarded by God Himself, and take control of his livelihood solely to satisfy our desires? There is a myth that is very widely popular, which states that elephants are domesticated animals and there is nothing wrong in riding them. So let's go with the meaning of domesticated first. Domesticated means that an animal species has been selectively bred by humans for many generations to have particular physical characteristic and behaviors. Yes, we can agree that the most common domestic animals like farm animals, dogs, and horses have undergone genetic changes that allow them to readily adopt captive conditions alongside humans. But whenever elephants are described as domesticated, it leads people to believe that the animal has lost its wild instincts and adapted to life in human company like dogs or horses. What we have to understand here is even if born in captivity, elephants are and will be wild animals. Taken from the wild at a young stage, elephants endure a lifetime of cruelty. In order to tame a wild elephant, it is tortured as a baby to completely break its spirit, ripping apart from their mothers and confining them into a small hole. By the time you come to ride an elephant, yes, it may appear docile and calm, but this is because its spirit has been broken. The breaking of the spirit, also called as elephant crushing, is the process by which the elephant is domesticated, and this process involves extreme level of cruelty. Even this practice is condemned by a variety of animal welfare groups as a form of animal cruelty. Evidences of elephant crushings has been found. Undercover footage filmed by charity World Animal Protection in Thailand shows 7 baby elephants being subjected to cruel practice in 2018, 2019, and even in 2020 after being torn away apart from their mother at the age of 2 and placed in isolation. Similarly, all of us might have heard about the famous 2016 case of Sambo, which dragged the world attention. Sambo was a female elephant which was trained to carry tourists around the ancient temples of Cambodia for 15 years. This female elephant had been working under scorching heat for 45 minutes, carrying two tourists, one at a time, to the attraction, which is considered the world's largest religious monuments. One veterinarian says and states that Sambo died of heart attack from high temperature, which was around 45 degrees Celsius. Similarly, heat exhaustion and lack of wind that would have helped her to cool. Following this case, World Animal Protection had also launched a petition asking them to stop promoting reviews and selling tickets for activities that are harmful towards elephants and especially other animals. To your surprise, this petition exceeded more than 185,000 signatures, and by early 2020, elephant riding has been banned in Cambodia. This is only a leading example which not only proves but compels us to acknowledge why elephant riding should be banned. There are still misconceptions that elephant is made for carrying loads and people around its back. However, if we look at the anatomy of its spine, they have sharp projections that extend vertically upwards. These projections make it difficult for them to carry weights on their back as it puts enormous pressure on its delicate back. The elephants used for riding carry their handler, who is also called Mahut, the seat, or also known as Huda, and at least 3 to 4 people on their delicate spine in addition to heavy chains. The chains rub against their skin, causing lesions and even massive tumors. Also, carrying weight regularly causes pain and sometimes even permanent injury. Moreover, a jute rope is tied tightly beneath the tail bases in order to fasten the huda. This causes pain and blocks bodily functions. Not only this, but the mahuts usually have sharp metal hooks at the end and are used on the sensitive areas of the elephant's skin in order to force obedience. It is hardly surprising that captive elephants suffer from arthritis and other serious bone debilitating diseases as they are unable to exercise enough and walk the normal 30 to 50 miles as they should have walked every day. All of the aforementioned facts which I have presented are not just some assumptions which I have made. Voice about and against these facts are also raised by organizations working for elephants like Elephant Aid International. There is also another myth which is rumoring around that keeping elephants in captivity ensures the conservation of elephants in the wild. This in fact is also false. Keeping elephants for tourism in fact damages their conservation status. Reproduction rates of elephants in captivity are extremely low and do not meet the demand of new elephants in the tourism industry. Consequently, elephants are poached from the wild to fuel tourist entertainment. This is considered as a major threat to wild Asian elephant population, which has declined dramatically over the past century. Now,
POI.
okay, yes, you can go on.
Okay. As Prime Minister stated that their captivity preserving, I'm sorry, elephant keeping elephant in the captive center is thus not the conservation status. So how would you convince us that gharials are kept captive and other animals are also kept captive? So aren't they also considered as conservating them?
I don't think I got your POI USA, so I'm really sorry. I have to decline it. Now, since we have known why elephant riding is cruel, and through petitions, we have also come to know that there is an emergence in number of population who support banning of elephant riding. Policies should be made all over the world for banning of elephant riding. Indeed, what's the use of development of science and technology if we still have to depend on primitive animal for the sake of entertainment and side visits? In the way Cambodia has now banned elephants and instead promoted the visits of temples by vehicle after the death of Sambo, every country must take this into their consideration. To conclude, elephant riding isn't something that is allowed by the morality of human beings. If people really understand this, the giant but poor creatures can live their life in comfort at their natural habitat. Elephant riding, mainly in Southeastern Asia, is driven by demand. If people really become aware about the behind the scenes of how an elephant is treated, tortured, tamed, and its consequences, then their demand rise up, so does their financial incentive. It's in all of our power to make a difference. And yes, it starts with a choice. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you very much, Anurag. Our next speaker is going to be from the opposition side, Deepak Acharya, who, who is the leader of opposition. Can you hear me?
Yes, sister.
Okay, Deepak, so your time starts now. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Namaste, and I, the leader of opposition, would like to respect all the judges and chairperson present in this meeting. And I, the leader of opposition, would like to state that, and I am disagree with the instant put forwarded by the Prime Minister, and he stated that elephant riding is taboo and it should be banned because of some reason he had mentioned in his speech. But I want to make him remember that as he is ruling the nation and he is running the government, I want to make him clear about that country's national economic status is being developed by the tourism sector, which is helped very much by this elephant riding. And another thing is that you have to keep in mind that the national economic progress is also the parallel way you think about the animal welfare. The instant of my team is elephant riding is necessary and parallel with the animal welfare, and we have to manage this by making the policy that binds that binds the that binds the owner to the appropriate animal welfare, and like this we have to learn that elephant riding is necessary by making the policy instead of thinking it should be or taboo. We have to make some plan and policy that will encourage. Yes.
So as you have said that economic development of a country is dependent on elephant riding. So, but there are other ways we can develop economic status of a country. Why is that? Does it have to be elephant riding only?
Okay, I'll come in the point. As the country's national economy is based on the tourism sector, as we all know that 60% of the tourists come to visit Nepal is main aim to visit the national park and conservation area, and out of that 35% of the tourists come here to do elephant riding only, and from that they will invest 267 millions of Nepalese currency, which will help in the national economic sector of our country. You got it, I think. Yes, now I'll continue. We have to make the planning policy in the following ways. The owner should have the license and the facilities of the vet doctor should be made available, and riding of elephant with limited number of people and limited group of tourists for one day should be made. And as for the government policy present in context to Nepal, only two group of tourists are allowed to use the safari per day, and this should be checked by the government person who are hired to the animal welfare sector. And the next thing is animal nutrition and diet management is also the important things we have to include in the policy, and the elephant should be free, or it should not be caged, or it should not be tied by the two chain strictly, and the last thing is the mouth should be well trained. And like this I want to enter in the argument that is based on the economic sector and the way we use it to count the animal in the data animal. Yes.
Is it okay to harm their body for our very short pleasure?
Thank you. Then let's I'll explain that we will not harm the animal. We are making the policy. We are making the policy that will be safe for the animal welfare also, and parallelly we can run the national economy of the country. I am saying about that we are not telling that we have to harm the animal. We will also think about the animal, because we also are the educated person that we have to do parallelly in our nation, because our nation is developing, and we are not allowed to compare with the national international level who are already developed, like America, Australia. They are already developed, and there are lots of income source for them. But in our country we have to consider small things that will give benefit to our country also. Thank you. And I am telling about the argument, and from the as I mentioned above, that 60% of the total tourists come to visit the national park, and they will spend more than 267 millions of Nepalese currency in our country to ride the elephant only. Like this, in this point of view, we can consider the elephant riding is one of the important part that we should have to continue in our country. And another thing is taking data from the dense forest. We used to ride elephant to take the data of the dangerous animal that lives in the dense forest, like counting of one on rhino and counting of tiger is done by the use of elephant riding since 1999. And this is the fact data we got in the government of Nepal. And since today also, from 1999 to 2005, 2011, and 2020 also, elephant are used to count the animal. As we count the animal by using the elephant riding, it will be very safe, and we also can determine the number of animal in the dense forest, and we also be able to determine whether they are in danger or in normal condition. Like this, as a wise people, I also think somewhat it is being wrong as animal welfare is disturbed, but it is not compulsory to think only a part of that sector. We being a social and responsible citizen of the country, we also have to think about the comparative advantage. Is the comparative advantage in this case come true that our nation is getting benefit from this sector? Then I think we should have to do continue and also think about animal welfare by making plan and policy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deepak. Our next speaker is going to be from the proposition side. Madan Khanal, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
So Madan is the Deputy Prime Minister. Madan, I'm going to start the time. The stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. If you have been brutally broken but still have a courage to be gentle to others, then you deserve a love deeper than the ocean itself. Good evening, everyone. My name is Madan Khanal. Today I am here presenting my views as a Deputy Minister of the government in the favor of the motion. Elephant riding should be considered as taboo and it is unnecessary. Have you ever thought an elephant safari must be the best and most exciting experience of all? The riding on these magnificent animals would be a unique adventure, believing that they are well suited for this kind of human entertainment purpose. Before thinking and planning about the elephant safari, we all must know about the ugly truth about elephant back rides. The truth is that the most elephants are trained for back rides through a brutal practice. None of my opponent team will discuss about. First of all, we all know that the elephants are wild animals, so young elephants are taken from their mother and family. Respected judges and my opponent, do you think it is easy to break their bonding and intimacy? No, absolutely not. Many other elephants are also hurted and injured while taking young in captivity. So separating them have a extreme psychological and physical impact on the elephants. The elephants' spirits are broken through unbelievably horror methods while they are tied up or chained in a pen where they cannot move with the help of systematic torture over days and weeks, often without food and water until she or he learn to obey the human control. So we all should keep in mind that the elephants are beautiful wild creature, not our entertainer. Now I am going to present some reason why the elephant riding should be banned. The biological structure of the elephants is not suitable for the riding, like horse, donkey, etc. Instead of round, smooth spinal disc, they have a sharp bony protrusion extended upward from their spine. These bony protrusions are vulnerable to weight and pressure coming from above. Carrying just one adult on its back can cause the elephant pain over time and potentially even spinal injury and can cause immediate death. In captivity, the elephants are not psychologically disturbed, depressed, but also become ill and forced endure extreme and unnatural temperature and under nutrition. Mostly in captivity, the elephants become impacted by the partial or complete intestinal obstruction and colic disease, by the continuous fibrous food supplement and dehydration and inadequate exercise. The elephant in captivity in the older age develops the arthritis and lameness due to the reduced movement and exercise reported by the Eduraj Kharpakar and Koichal in captive Asiatic elephants in India. Another big problem developed in the captive elephants is food issues. Hard surfaces, floors covered in the urine and feces can cause the infection around the foot pad. A cracked or infected foot pad cannot absorb the pressure effectively, making outside part of the foot more susceptible to the disease. Thus, the most problems are toenail cracks, sole overgrowth, trauma, osteoarthritis, etc. It is estimated that the 50% of the captive elephants' death are caused by these afflictions. These have been reported by the Olga Panagiotova in her research paper. Eye problem is the another big issue reported in the captive elephant. 20% of the elephant was found having eye problem, including cataract, corneal opacity, blindness in Kerala, reported by the G. Ajit Kumar and Koichal. Now I'd like to go to the points that my opponent leader put on. He said that we have to use elephant for safari and other purpose with animal welfare. Now I would like to ask him how the practice of making these wild animals to docile domestic by breaking their spirit comes under animal welfare, and how beating them in sensitive area with the bullocks, chains, hammer for controlling them comes under animal welfare. Finally, I want to assist that the elephants should not be used for human entertaining purposes by giving them brutal spiritual and physical torture. There is no meaning and significance of economic development and flourishing tourism by capturing or torturing these innocent wild creatures. There are number of ways of flourishing tourism and economic development and entertainment purpose. They deserve their own free living life as we all living beings. Mankind is not only the animals that laugh, thinks, feels, and loves. The sooner we acknowledge that the animals are emotional beings, the sooner we will cease destroying animals and embrace them as our sisters and brothers. Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you, Madan. Our next speaker is going to be from the opposition side. Sudeep, can you hear me? Sudeep Arya?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. May I?
Okay, make sure you turn on your video before you start speaking. Okay, Sudeep, I'm going to start your time. Okay, the stage is yours.
Okay, ma'am. First of all, I would like to talk about the animal elephant riding. What if riding elephant doesn't mean only the riding on the back of the elephant for recreational purpose for tourism? Does it overall cover the term elephant riding? I don't think so. The government panel focus only on the abuse of elephant for the purpose of tourism. The policies from the opposition panel to doesn't support such abuse or cruelty. But the opposition panel supports elephant riding along with proper welfare practices. Here with the word welfare, I mean to say about the health, comfortableness, well nourishment and safety and free from suffering of the animals from unpleasant states such as pain, fear, and distresses. So for the welfare practices, with along with the welfare practices, riding elephant is necessary. During the fluency of government panel, I heard some of the points from the Deputy Prime Minister on which I don't prefer to agree. Deputy Prime Minister from the government panel told us about the anatomical structure of the spine, vertebral column in which spines are pointed. The government panel reported about the anatomical structure of the backbone of the elephant. Okay, then Then the main problem is related to the upward pointing of the spines of the vertebra. The leader of our panel talk about the carrying capacity of the elephant. So the question arises: how elephants should carry the load in order to prevent this their musculature and spine damage? The answer it should be think. So the carrier is the main point. The carrier on the back of elephant is known as howdah, which is chiefly made up of wood or metal. This house believes that the design of the howdah should be changed. The design should be such that it distributes the pressure of the load all over the back, not only over the spines of the vertebra. So there should be provision of foamy or spongy material at the base of the howdah, so that elephant feel easy while carrying the load. The howdah should be made of lightweight material. In case of riding on the bareback or involvement in the animal polo, there is no need of any kind of howdah or saddle. These provisions on elephant riding, these provisions on elephant riding emphasizes the carrying ability of the by the robust skeleton framework combined with the straight limbs, which enable to resist the gravity downward and for gravity force and and carry the load with ease. Thus, the structural design of the howdah should be changed so that the elephant can carry the load with ease and no more damage is done to its body structure. So I also noticed that the government panel opposed about the Phasian ritual in which the calves of the elephant are separated from the mother using that Phasian ritual, also known as breaking of spirit. But this such kind of inhuman activity can be reformed. So we must think about the reforming such inhuman activities for the sake of the animal welfare. Talking about the exploitation of elephants during the safaris on managed workloads is one of the major problems. Okay, the main problem is we know that it is obviously noted that privately kept elephants have more workload than the government on the normally they have to deal with 4 to 5 safaris each day for elephant, which cause high damage to the body structure of the elephant. But this can be reduced. This kind of workload should be reduced, and for the sake of the welfare, there should be control regarding the number of safari trips and suitable timings. The elephants should not be made work during midday heat, and also during heavy rains. There should be provision for minimum health standard for the participating elephant. This prevents lethargic elephant to not to work. This does not make lethargic elephant to work. This helps in improving the health of the participating elephant. There should be also provision for the examination of mouse professionalism, because mouse professionalism is also an important factor. A less skilled mouse is harmful for the working elephant. Thus, in order to improve and maintain proper health condition of the working elephant, provision for examining the mouse professionalism is necessary. And our leader told about the policies, the health condition of the participating elephants should be regularly checked out by the veterinarian, so that many zoonotic diseases that the government panel talked about, this can be avoided, or prevention can be done. So prevention is better than cure. And the main purpose of using elephant for riding is for earning money for the owners. So there should the owners are the main factors, and their relationship with the mouse should be considered. If the owners are ignorant, they tend to undervalue mouse and consider them as uneducated, superstitious, and unable to act as professional caretaker. This creates an unbalanced condition. The mouse may request for better shelter and nutrition for the elephant, but the owners tend to be ignored such elephant. Thus, there should be provision for license honor, as explained by our leader in the policy of our panel. There should be provision for license honor, which are aware of the shelter and nutrition and for the elephant of the elephants for the sake of animal welfare. So there are many changes required for the elephant back rides, that many changes required. So the president of United Elephant Cooperative in 2016, Deepak Godfrey in Chiton, reformed some of the rules. This includes there are no more chain of private elements during the day in Chiton. However, bull elephants are still kept in chains as they cannot be controlled if females are around. Thus, there is provision of providing separate shelter for male and female elephants. Mouse can no longer use metal hooks, which is an important factor because metal hooks are now replaced with wooden sticks. Nowadays, elephant jungle safaris are carried out only twice per day for each elephant. Previously, they were used up to 5 times per day. Thus, these policies should be strictly implemented for the welfare of the working elephant. Furthermore, two baby elephants have already been successfully raised using non-traditional method. I mean, without the for breaking of the spirit or Fazan ritual. Therefore, this Fazan ritual is no longer the preferred in Chitwan. Therefore, there is another innovative concept of elephant happy hour in Chitwan National Park. In this concept, interested people can give a working elephant a free hour of fun and relaxation. The operators can provide extensive explanation about the elephant and in general and their condition in Nepal. Then people can head to the protected areas to meet the elephant, feed the elephant, and just watch it while having the fun and being free. All is done with absolute respect for the animals, without forcing it to do anything or without causing it any distress. This promotes animal welfare. Even so, we can get plenty of time to watch it and interact with it, taking the necessary precaution and following the instruction. This approach is better than elephant back safari, as you get to know a lot of elephant and you can interact in a way that is better for us and the elephants. So there are many benefits of elephant happy hour. This reduces feeding cost for the elephants. And reduction of workload. This reduction of workload and number of safaris and improves the health condition of the elephant. Thus, there should be provision for license honor for elephant, who is aware of all these things and do not force the elephant to carry more number of people and increase the number of safaris. Therefore, the animal welfare should be addressed very carefully, and there are many elephant friendly venues in the protected areas and in captivity. Such venues are established in order to improve the welfare of the existing captive element and contribute towards animal welfare. This allows us to observe rather than touch animals, which provides ample space for the movement and socialization to the animals and discourages the use of metal hooks. Remember, discourages the uses of metal hooks or any sort of sharp objects to tame the elephants. This promotes animal welfare. All these concepts of elephant happy hour or any elephant friendly venues and these radical changes in elephant backride are for the sake of the animal welfare. These provisions does not force the elephant for more workload in order to fulfill proper feeding requirement and for the income of the owner. These concepts ultimately lead to the satisfaction of the owner physical and mental relief for the elephant and to achieve the goals of the animal welfare. So the proposition team also talk about the necessity of riding elephants. In order to study about the wildlife, one should perform the task for following the instruction with appropriate precautions. The personnel must be protected from the wild animals. The harm from the wild animals can be prevented only by riding the elephant. Therefore, riding elephants is necessary. Other factors may include developing organized roadways inside the jungle, which may exploit many vegetation, affect the habitat of the wild animals. Thus, use of vehicles and for observing the protected areas, national park conservation areas, or any other forest areas is not a proper choice. Thus, the better choice leads us to ride on the back of the elephant. Thus, interference should be limited. It should not cross the limit of the animal welfare. Thus, it is all I explain. We cannot ignore the necessity of riding elephant. Just leaving it, if we can, just leaving it. If we find current situation harder, it doesn't. It is not a solution. We must find a way to improve it. The way of improving the condition of riding elephant is animal welfare. Thus, we must change for the sake of the animal welfare. Thank you. It's my time.
All right, Sudeep, I have to point out that you crossed the 13 minutes mark, so you spoke way over time. And if you've crossed 8-minute marks, your arguments would not be pointed. I had explained this to you before as well. So yeah, our adjudicators, please keep that in mind. Right, okay, thank you, Sudeep. Our next speaker is going to be from the proposition side, Yashoda. Yashoda is the government whip. Yashoda, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you please turn on your video? Okay, super. All right, Yashoda, I'm starting the time. You've got 8 minutes. Okay, the stage is yours.
Okay. Once upon a time, in not so distant land, she opened her eyes and realized she cannot stand. Tied by chains, carry a chair with lots of people in her back all her life, tortured, assaulted, and beaten until spirits are broken. So helpless thrive. She wasn't my sister, my best friend, or my mother. She was a living being with a heart, a brain, beat just like other. Thank you so much, Anushka, SCAW Education Officer, for such an honor. Hello, good afternoon, and namaste to everyone presenting here. Lovely to see you all. We are having a very good time with some very interesting things being said. Let me begin by introducing myself, Yashoda Khadka, a whip representative of proposition team. According to the WWF, there are 16,000 elephants, including babies, are held in captive in elephant tourist attractions, orphanages, and parks across the Asia, and number is growing day by day. Elephants are beaten into submission when the young and force tourist attractions, and the elephants are beaten into submission when young and then forced to let travelers take rides on their backs and to perform confusing and something painful tricks, including walking on a tight ropes, balancing on two legs on drums, painting pictures, and dancing. Elephant in nature lives in matriarchal herds in which they forage for fresh vegetation, play, bath in river, and travel many miles happily. Baby elephants living in such a peaceful and friendly environment are taken from their mother and families in the wild because they have a high scale value. Not only are babies illegally captured, their protective mother are also killed. They try to save them. Training begins immediately. The babies are tied down and beaten with bullocks and other instruments designed to inflict the severe pain until their spirits are broken and they are willing to obey the trainers to avoid pain. Researchers have found that elephants who are subjected to breaking this or cross process often develop post-traumatic disorder. This disorder causes abnormal startle responses, depressions, unpredictable asocial behavior, and hyperaggression. According to the ecologist Stephen Blake, elephants do have fantastic memory. If their mother or close members are harmed by the people in front of them, they can harm them back after so long. For example, according to the Chitwan National Park officials, Dhurve, the rough bull elephant that killed 15 people in a span of 4 years in Chitwan before going out of contact in 2013. The vertebra is pointed upward in case of elephant so that its anatomical structure doesn't support to carry load in its back. Its spine cannot support the weight of people, and doing so all day can lead permanent spinal injury. There are further complications from having a chair that is called howdah in Nepali, about 30 to 40 kg in addition of 5 to 6 people. This degenerate the backbone in a course of time that leads the bending of their legs due to high stress. They might become blind too and can fall down and can die immediately. We are human, not a demons to say so. Such a cruelty to another living being, another life. Let's be good human and show some love to another creature of nature. If nature doesn't give them a comfortable structure, then don't force them to do such a work they cannot do. Let them be free. Elephants not only decorate the wildlife, also became an cultural icon. According to the Hindu mythology, the god and demons stormed the ocean in searching for elixir of life so that they would become immortal. As they did so, 9 jewels comes out of surface and one of them is elephant. In Hinduism, the powerful deity honored before all sacred rituals in elephant-headed Ganesha, who is also called the remover of obstacles. If our culture worship it with honor and listed as a purity of Hinduism, then how can we
Yeah,
forget the humanity? Yes.
as you said that the vertebra are in such a way they cannot able to afford the load, you said, and the research of Thailand in 2014 August 4, it has showed that from the scientists they reported that the weight, the live weight of live elephant can carry the load of 25% of its body weight. Then how can you say that they are not able to carry any load? Explain it, please.
Its vertebral spine is so pointed and it can harm its skin too, and development of the skin tumor also. So that's my answer. So when captive elephants are not working, the animals are usually kept in sets or sacks, often with concrete floor that can damage their legs, and they are bound by chains that can be so tight they can barely move. Captive elephants are routinely denied nutrition, food, adequate water, and needed veterinary care, especially for their feet. Lack of exercise and long hours spent standing on the hard surface are major contributor to serious food problems, arthritis, and back injuries. That's why most captive elephants die decades shortly of their normal life spans. As our deputy opposition leader said, change the design of howdah. Friends, we are talking about the loads, not the design of the howdah. It is very sensitive. Elephant skin is very sensitive that the one butterfly, if the butterfly is sit in its skin, it can sense it. So, so let's talk about the context of Nepal. According to the Chitwan National Park statistics, 61 elephants were diagnosed with TB in 2012. Out of 61, 16 had died. Another test was done in 2016. 93 were infected. Over the year, the TB infected elephants rate is increasing day by day. TB is zoonotic disease that can be easily transmitted to the people who are involved in activities like bathing with elephant trunk by sitting in its back. TB is caused by microbacterium tuberculosis, but it usually attack lungs but can attack any part of the body like kidney, brain. Elephant riding doesn't harm the elephant only, it affects us too. If our carrier elephant is infected by TB through it, we can be infected by a deadly TB. In that case, we might pay off our life for a short pleasure. Because of public awareness, cruelty to captive elephant has increased. Many attractions are trying to do tourists by adding words such as sanctuary, rescue center, refuge, and retirement facility to their names. But abusive training methods and deprivations are often the same and makes the elephant follow the trainer's command to let people ride, feed, touch, or bath them. We have to make better policy for the betterment of elephant. Let's join together and let's be the voice of voiceless. As the nature of elephant doesn't support the riding elephant, and our Hindu mythology worship it as a jewel, not only this, we can be safe from the TB, a dreadful disease that can be transmitted through the elephant if it is infected by the TB. So let's stop the following of such unnecessary trends and Tabo, be a good human by heart. Let them wandering in this beautiful world with stress.
Thank you very much, Yashoda. Our next speaker is going to be from the opposition side. Usha, can you hear me?
Yes, Didi, and am I audible?
Can you turn on your video, please?
Yes, I'm turning my video, but unfortunately, my hostel lights are gone, and I'm on the library, and I'm turning my
Okay,
video.
that's fine. All right, Ushka, so I'm going to start your timer. Are you ready?
Yes, okay. Hello, everyone. It's Usha Khatre for on the opposition side with the topic elephant riding is necessary with the proper animal welfare practices. And I am representing as the opposition whip of the proposition team. It's really glad to be with you and thank you for the opportunity. First of all, I would like to state that our main topic of the debate competition is riding elephant should be banned, not elephant riding. Elephant riding is mostly generalized by only the captive elephant or tourist safari or etc. But elephant riding can also be explained as the any human or any being riding on the elephant for any purposes. For example, elephant polo. Hati polo in Nepal is being renowned by world, and we are proud of it. Also, in the temple, as Ms. Yosoda, government whip has already mentioned that elephant are regarded as the jewels of any religions of Hindu religion. But I want to tackle it with a question: why in Kerala elephant riders or so-called mahot are given extra bonus or extra point about 20% allowance just to ride on the around the temple? Isn't there is also ethical values? Yes, there is. Riding on the or roaming around the elephant around the temple is also the ethical value which are being followed. Moreover, we have the addition phrase here, that is animal welfare. Proper animal welfare should be practiced. So if we stay in the periphery of animal welfare practices, and elephant riding is necessary already, as already mentioned by our deputy leader, that it helps in high amount, it helps in upliftment of any
UI.
yes.
So, Usha, you just said that elephant polo is good in context of Nepal. Then why did people, for the ethical treatment of animals, PETA claimed elephant polo to be cruel and barbaric, and why has it been banned in Thailand now? Can you clear me that? Thailand has banned elephant polo since 2018. Then why is it so? Why has Thailand banned elephant polo and PETA has raised voice against this?
Okay, thank you for the question. As Prime Minister stated us the fact about the 2018 and Thailand, and we are in Nepal. Nepal renowned as the first to recognize in Hati Polo. Hati Polo is simply a game and which is much more renowned in the world. And if I have always mentioned the term animal welfare, which is the main issue here. If we stay in the periphery of the animal welfare with proper policies, we can organize it. All the organizations which are going against the elephant riding or so-called safari or anything related to the elephant riding, they are arguing in the terms of animal welfare, not the elephant riding. I want to focus on the animal welfare part. Thank you. Okay, now moving forward, I have also seen the points of using of the metallic hooks and any others in the United Elephant Cooperative. There is also the concept of other wooden hooks should be used, and instead of the metallic hook, which lessens the pain of the elephant. And moreover, within the periphery of the animal welfare, we should conduct the elephant riding, because it helps in the upliftment of any group of the persons quality of life. And also there are also the our prime minister should focus on the policies of making new policies where elephant riding can also be conducted in our parallel world. For example, license owner or veterinary doctor facilitation of the veterinary doctor to the owner. If such policies can be maintained, then why not elephant riding? If we can certainly, I think we can certainly focus on sorts of the policies rather than stopping the elephant riding immediately. Also, I have found that in a research elephant behavior, in the research of the elephant behavior, elephant also have some feelings as in the human. The elephant who is the elephant which is living with the human for years and years, it has more emotional attachment with the mahout than one kind. Yes, it is the development of the emotions with you who you stay with such mahout. And in coming days, if you just separate the elephant with the mahout, so what consequences it will bear? I have also found out that elephant. I have also found out that elephants are dying with dying from the heart broken from separation of the spouse or separation of their mahout too. So we should considering the elephant behavior, elephant riding is also necessary with proper animal welfare practices. And moreover, elephant riding is necessary. Elephant riding is done not only for the human purposes or human selfishness or human so-called selfishness, because it also been used in the census counting of the wild animals already mentioned by our deputy leader of opposition. Also, moreover, I want to state that. Also, moreover, I want to state that for the medication of such kind of wild animals, elephant riding is extensively being used. Also, with remaining in the periphery of the animal welfare, in Nepal recently there is the establishment of the wildlife hospital. So, with the aid of such hospital, we can surely treat all the diseases related to the elephant. And also Miss Yosoda has mentioned that elephant tuberculosis. Yes, elephant tuberculosis indeed is a zoonotic and it is spreading day by day. But if policies are made within the periphery of the animal welfare, treating in the animal welfare, treating the elephant once in a month, or treating them with the facilitation of the veterinary doctor. So I thought we could just focus on that and say. Uh, just don't say that we should ban the elephant riding or riding of the elephant. Let's solve some. Let's go for some of the solutions, not for the just don't highlight the problems. Let's go for the solutions. And okay, so concluding that conservation status already mentioned by Prime Minister, he said that conservation status does not mean only captivating. And here also another parallel question arises that if conservation status is not, if captivating or putting in certain area is not conservation status, then what is the Gharial Center? What is the Central Zoo? What are all those related conservation captivity centers of all the animals? Aren't they recognized as the conservation status? That is not just merely a point of the conservation status regarding as the captivity of being conserving or anything else. So I want to say that elephant riding is essential, sorry, is necessary with the proper animal welfare practices, which can be only achieved by the policies which should be maintained by our Prime Minister without showing any kind of problems, but with moving forward in those solutions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Usha. Now that our debate is, we're gonna have a reply speech. Our first reply speech is going to be from the opposition team. It's going to be Deepak. Deepak, are you ready with your reply speech? It's only going to be for 4 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, Deepak. The stage is yours.
Yes, thank you. I already mentioned about some of the plan and policy we have to make to operate this elephant riding in the present context of our country. Likewise, I again want to request and to note down the policies which we have planned, and we have to do this around the periphery of the animal welfare. Since our Prime Minister is directed towards the way to ban the elephant riding, why don't we think about the alternative way by making plan and policy? Likewise, first of all, we have to make the elephant owner or the mouth, they should be provided with the license, and there should be the facilities of the vet doctor. It's already some arthritis and zoonotic disease, tuberculosis is a issue comes to here. We have to consult to the vet doctor. And likewise, there is the problem of carrying overload in the elephant. We have to summarize all this thing, and we have to think of the limited number of people to be safari in the elephant, and or the limited package of the tourist. And likewise, we have to think about the food and nutrition. It is also the one of the major important part of the health and life. If food and nutrition are not managed, we have to make some plan and policy, when we have to give some ideas and training to the mouth, which will improve the animal health, in this case for the elephant. And likewise, we also have to make open or a free space where elephants should be kept, or elephant are kept, and especially we have to use this case of this kind of case, in case of pregnant elephant, we have to separate them and we have to treat them separately. Likewise, by summarizing all this point, and by knowing the benefit and harm of the these cases, and we are in the conclusion that we have to do in the present condition, but we also have to apply this plan and policy in a strict way, so that animal welfare are not harmed so much far. So likewise, if we are able to make the policy, and if again now also, if the prime minister is thinking about its banding, or about to stop this kind of elephant riding, then I want to ask him the question, how you will manage the economic status of the country. I already mentioned that about 267 millions of currency are invested in the elephant riding. If this is stopped, how will he manage this economic condition, economic problem? And if we make this plan and policy, I'm sure that we can stay in the present world, and we can use them for our benefit also, and we also protect them in the control condition. Likewise, we have to make our plan and policy, and make the diplomatic relationship with other country also. Like in elephant polo, we have discussed that elephant polo is not a national game, it is international game in Chitwan Saura, which include more than five countries, which helps to maintain the national plan and policy, and the diplomatic relationship of Nepal with other country, and also helps in the economic status of the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deepak. Our next reply speech is going to be from the proposition side. Anurag, are you
Yes,
ready?
I'm ready. Thank you, Anushka. So, to summarize, it is clear that the strategy of opposition in this debate is in two folds. Firstly, to narrow the thought process regarding riding of an elephant, and secondly, to make the entire case seem to be illogical. Because, as raised, as the question our deputy leader of opposition has raised regarding the improvement of economic situation of our country, we don't necessarily have to depend on only elephant riding for the development of our economic purpose. We Nepal are of an agricultural country, and we don't necessarily only have to depend upon torturing a speechless animal just for the sake of benefits of our. We propositions disagree with the opponent's comment regarding elephants being treated pretty decently in comparison to other animals. We don't use bullocks on horses. We don't jam dogs with nails. We don't deprive them of food or water to tease them out to be domestic. These elephants go through horrific torture to break the bond between mother and baby and to learn how to become docile. Putting a leash on a dog to go out for a walk isn't the same thing as chaining an elephant for their entire lives, except when they are not working. Aside from the fact that no animal should spend its life being chained, there are plenty of images you can also find online that show the deep scars on elephants' feet from these chains. One should never harm the elephant, which is the source of their own livelihood. Our wish is that all humans should sit back, relax, and close their eyes, then nurture their thoughts to be ethical and rational. It is rather unfortunate that humans are one such species on this planet that constantly needs to be entertained. We have therefore over the years developed developed on our lives the theme of amusement at the expense of abuse to anything else. But also, in our opinion, we would say that it is a parasitic thought in certain aspects at time. On one hand, we can imagine a world where elephant riding is banned, where humans don't have authority to rob another creature from its natural environment and take control of its livelihood solely to satisfy our desires, and where there exists human elephants compassion instead of human elephants conflict. In the contrary, we can imagine another world where all of these provisions are prohibited, restricted, and this beautiful creation of nature is tortured. Their health is sacrificed in order to delight people and let them tick off a box on their bucket list. Let's move away from selfish behavior and find better solutions developed with harmony and dignity towards all life form. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Yeah, before announcing the winners, what I would recommend, yes, I congratulate first all of our debaters, both the teams. Excellent by both of the teams. But since it's the debate and we have to give feedback to you, what you brought point, proposition brought many points, opposition brought points, and the arguments you brought were relative. We really liked it, but somehow proposition brought arguments, gave some reasons, and opposition were trying to reject it, but they somehow supported proposition side. And this is what you can't do. What you did is proposition side made the point for animal welfare and opposition did the same. So here you can't do this. Next time what you do is the debate is about when the motion is given to you, what you can do is you have to convince the audience, your listeners. Suppose you are given a motion and you are supporting it, you have to make the point, your argument, and convince us why you liked it, why you proposed the point. Suppose you have you all have heard about Prime Minister's statements, KP Oli's statement that turmeric, that is besar, might be helpful to cure corona in the time he has mentioned during pandemic. What is the statement? Yeah, you all have got. But what how we can think is some people can think it, yes, they support it. Why? They can convince other people why they think the statement is correct, and some believe that it is not fully correct. They can convince it. So this is the point you have to be kept in mind. You have to keep in mind next time, always bring the argument with reasons. And the next thing you did was time lapse. You cannot cross out the time. Your time limit is absolute. Just bring few arguments but give concrete reasons. This is what you can do. Within 8 minutes, you can bring 4 to 5 arguments, 5 to 6 arguments with absolute reasons and few facts and examples. And I really appreciate POIs from both the teams. POIs were helpful, and they are helpful because when you listen to POI, they will give you hint about how can you more go towards your motion if you are opposing if you are proposing. POIs are helpful for it. And next thing you did was anatomically structures the point that you made. You both the proposition and opposition. We really liked. The debate was very close. The margins, the win and the loss is just by inch. I really congratulate both the teams for making such great arguments about policies, about animal welfare, and what would have been great is about bringing economic development. Opposition must have been brought economic development policies and how they are more helpful with animal riding along with the animal welfare. You must have been given more concrete examples and facts. So I guess it is about, I may request my adjudicator panel to say more in it if she would like to do.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for being here and being part of this debate today. I first wanted to congratulate all of the speakers. All of your speeches were extremely well presented and well thought out. I, at least as an Irish person, learned so much about this issue as I don't have the same contact or insights that you do. So for that, I'm extremely grateful that you all took the time to share this knowledge with me today. So I have a few thoughts. First of all, I thought you all did very well. There were a few small things that I would just like to give you some feedback on. So the first thing that struck me is I would really advise you to be extremely careful if you're going to mention any kind of God or religious belief or cultural belief in terms of an argument. So what you must bear in mind that, in terms of the adjudication panel, like we are international, your audience may also be. So in order to present the most compelling argument, I would really strongly recommend that you make it as universal as possible. So as a result, I think you need to be very, very careful how you choose to approach any sort of religious or moral agenda or, prerogative. Having said that, to give you a contrast, like I thought in our opening speech, like again, like it's unwise, I think, to use like assumptions, like like God granted us this or that or the other, because your ideas or your faith may not be shared by all of your audience. However, I do think later on, the point that was raised about the roles of elephants within Hindu beliefs and within that culture, I thought that was very well presented. So that gives you the contrast of how I think you can handle such, in some ways delicate subject matter in a more inclusive and in a more objective manner. So that would be the first thing. Of course, I understand that you want to present the most compelling argument, but again, I would just encourage you to think carefully because you can alienate some of your audience if you decide to go down the route of assuming that people share the same religious or cultural beliefs. On other notes, I was very happy to see that there was good engagement with POIs, and that you all did a very good job of, reiterating and counteracting some of the arguments presented by your opponents. So I thought that was very well done. On that matter, I just would like to advise that some of the arguments were a little bit repetitive, especially in regards to the breaking of the spirit of the elephants. I would have liked, and especially from a veterinary perspective, I would have loved a little bit more detail on the actual long-term psychological impact of that. Do we have studies from elephant sanctuaries? Do we have, even like anecdotal evidence from animal handlers in those situations who have seen the aftermath of elephants that have come out of, who have perhaps been part of this industry and have now come out the other side of it? What were the long-term psychological impacts of that? Other than that, again, as my fellow adjudicator has said, it was very close. I thought you all presented arguments very well. I admired hugely your passion and the energy with which you presented your arguments. I must confess that I thought there were two speakers who spoke a little bit too quickly. So I struggled in some moments to catch some of what they were saying. So just try and find that balance. You still want that momentum, you still want that energy, but again, bearing in mind that we have an international audience, it's definitely advisable to slow down a little bit and articulate very clearly, just to accommodate those who are not so comfortable with different accents and different dialects. So they were my main points, I think. Again, I would have loved a little bit, just from the veterinary perspective, I would have loved a little bit more discussion of the long-term impact, like the arthritis, like to what degree, to what severity, what impact did that have on their mobility. And the other thing that I would say be very careful with is the use of the term like skin tumors. That can be quite misleading, so I would perhaps recommend an alternative terms such as like edema, ulceration, abscesses, that kind of a thing, because a tumor is perhaps not the best term that I would use there. But again, as I said, overall, great debate. Congratulations to you all. And I, for one, learned a huge amount having not had contact with this subject as you guys have had. So thank you very much for that. I will hand over to my fellow adjudicator. Perhaps you would like to announce our results. As he has mentioned previously, it was extremely close. So you should all be very, very proud of the effort that you have made today.
Yes, it was really great. Now, I really congratulate for all the speakers, to both the teams. And listen, the winner is just from the margin. You would have done great. Now it's the learning time. You must take up some good advices from my fellow adjudicator. Now I announce the winner. We believe that proposition has taken this debate because of their arguments with reasons relevant to the motion. I believe opposition has also done great, but what they did is supportive to the proposition. Look, make sure that when proposition side has made the statements that are already relevant to the motion, you just oppose them. You just reject their point, you just deny their point and give reasons why you deny the point. You just said, yes, elephants riding should be banned. And you also talked on that about animal welfare. What you could do is you could have said that animal riding must be done in that manner which doesn't hamper elephants itself. Animal welfare subject you brought, it was really great. Yes. So I had a great time to learn from all of you. The motion was really great, and I really congratulate the organizer for such a great motion as well. So congratulate again the proposition side and the opposition side, and congratulate especially proposition side for winning it. And opposition side, please make sure you really did it great. And congrats and wishing you best of luck for your next coming debates. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the adjudicators, and a massive congratulations to the proposition side. You guys are the winner. Um, but also congratulations to the opposition side. You also performed very well. So congratulations to all of you. Uh, so all of you will get a certificate of participation. I will send it to you shortly. And the winner of this debate will also be getting a prize, which I will share about it with you later. So once again, congratulations to all of you. I hope that you all got to learn more from this debate as I did. I definitely got to learn a lot from it. And yes, that's it. Thank you very much.